MOM Radio and Pipe Bomb Radio present Not Your Mama's Radio Show with your hosts, former WWE superstars Oscar, Sir Mo, and Dreamy Mimi.
Welcome, everybody, to Not Your Mama's Radio Show, and here's your host, Oscar.
Hey, Felix, how you doing?
I'm doing good. It's been a pretty interesting things. Well, I guess you could say the last couple of days. I turned 36 on Monday. Had a nice little. It was simple. It was nice. It was a really sweet gesture. My nieces made me a cake and got together and sang happy birthday to me. Guess you can't get anything better than that.
That's why we didn't run the show Monday. I knew your loved ones wanted to get together and do something for you.
Yeah, when I was like, you know what, no, let's do the show, and then as the day went on, I was like, for me, I'm fine. I don't really, to me, it's just another day, I'm just becoming another age, another year older, but I had a feeling they might try something, so I was like, let's postpone it at least until Wednesday. And besides that, it kind of fits better considering this is our Thanksgiving special, and Thanksgiving you get Turkey Days tomorrow.
Yeah, but you know what, see, I've learned, and I'm older than you, obviously, but that's the mistake we make. See, two things. We ought to celebrate and thank God above that we have reached the landmark to make it another year without major incident, with our health intact, and that we just live to see another year. And see, our birthday, is not only for us, like you said, your nieces, they love their Uncle Felix, and we would be robbing from our loved ones that want to celebrate that day, that want to, bring that new year for us in and celebrate that milestone in our life. They don't just celebrate the fact that you turn a year older. They celebrate the love they have for you, the things you've done for them, the things they've done for you. And it's just a day where we can just appreciate ourselves and appreciate our loved ones.
Absolutely. I don't think I could have said it any better. In fact, I actually wanted to let you know, too, that I was able to catch an interview you did on the MWF show. I think it was pretty much dated last month, because I know I think they were talking about things that were going to happen in early November that I think already did. But it was a good interview, I have to say. A lot of good stories you told in there. But, yeah, no, you're right. I mean, birthdays, as you get older, they don't mean – it means a different thing to you. As you get older, obviously as a child, you look forward to the hanging out with your friends and getting presents and all that stuff. And as you get older, you're just thankful, obviously, for another year of being alive. And above anything else, when all else fails in life, you can never really take away the fact that you'll always have your family.
Yeah, that is so true. And it's just happy birthday, man, and just
of course, thank you.
many more to come. It's a milestone in life we reach, and it's just a thing. So 36, huh? Do you feel 36?
No, actually, I don't. Actually, to me, it seems crazy. And I'll even add in a small little story here really quick. I don't feel that. I feel like I'm still 18, honestly. And
wow.
and what on top of that, I came across an old friend of mine that I hadn't talked to in 25 years, and I didn't realize it had been that long until I looked at it. It's like, oh my God, where the hell does the time go? But yeah, it's been 25 years, and we reconnected and chatted a little bit, and got to see his beautiful family, and that was just an icing on the cake for, well, no pun intended, but for a good birthday gift as well, and to reconnect with an old friend after 25 years.
See, and like I said, that's what birthdays are all about. Those things that just make you smile and just, just make the day worthwhile. I'm glad that you was able to enjoy it and,
absolutely
many more.
I definitely want to let you know too that we do have Mo back with us. Happy Thanksgiving, Mo.
Thank you very much. Happy Thanksgiving. Happy birthday.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Now, Oscar, I don't really know. Does Mimi have a different number to call in? Will she be calling in tonight?
What's the area code?
It isn't. You guys don't have one from 619, do you?
619. Nah, but find out who that is. I mean,
California.
I have a feeling I know who it is. I just wanted to be sure if it wasn't Mimi, because I probably would have brought her on a lot sooner. But if she hasn't called in yet, I'll keep an eye out for her.
We don't have a featured guest, but we got a lot of invited guests on tonight. We are going to be talking about Survivor Series, Raw, and we're going to have a big discussion tonight about Ferguson. Non-wrestling topic, but it is a big topic in the news. Pastor Curtis Whitaker is going to call in. I'm just getting some texts from Evan Prout, the guys from Under the Mat Radio. So we're going to have a nice round table to dissect that situation and use our voices tonight to try to bring calm to the region and to the country. It's a hot-button issue, so we're definitely going to get deep into that. That's going to be a lengthy discussion tonight.
I did want to let you know, too, that there was a Twitter post to you on your Twitter account that asked, of course, if you would comment on. Did you happen to go to the Smash Mouth show? And if so, how did it go?
Okay. Yeah. We can start tonight with Smash Mouth.
If you want to, sure, yeah.
Yeah, we can begin. I almost forgot. There's so much going on. I almost forgot about that.
Hey, man. Before you do, before you do, let's have a moment of silence, please.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Just for a moment.
Okay.
Okay, that's long enough.
All right.
Oh my God.
Oh Lord. Oh Lord.
I'm not going to mention any names because that would be unprofessional. I'm not going to do that. But there was somebody that got on the phone with Mo while we was at the event, and Mo, what did they say to you?
They've been in the business for 20 plus years, and man, it was so bad. They thought that it was so bad, man, that it was so hilarious that, that they would surely take a payoff like that again, even though it was a shitty show, just to come back for the entertainment.
Well,
interesting.
Yeah.
Just to come back for the entertainment.
And he's pretty much quoting what somebody said, because I was sitting right there. Now, ladies and gentlemen, let me say it like this. I'm not going to laugh at nobody. I ain't going to bash nobody. I ain't going to talk bad about nobody. But I am going to lay it out to tell you, pretty much, what's what. Let's wind the clock back a few months. Now, when the idea came up for the promoter to have this show, and he brought it to me, now our in-house, on-radio wrestling expert on how to promote a show, how the in-ring stuff should go, and basically what the basic booker mentality, Mo, you kind of like defer to him when these things are going to happen, and then he can pretty much tell you, which is exactly, what he tried to do. He tried to tell the guy, he listened to his ideas. He didn't just tell the guy well, you don't do this, you don't do that, you don't do the other thing, without explaining why you don't and pretty much how to build the show. So everything he told him, the guy took it with not a grain of salt, but with basically, a drop in the toilet and didn't listen at all. So, but that's somebody's money, that's their prerogative, that's their whatever. And if you are in this business, independent, whether you worked, been to the big show or anything else, if you were there to see it, you would not, you simply would not have believed your eyes. Number one, they had wrestling matches and they didn't have, a $5.99 bell to ring. So who knows when to start a match when you get in the ring. You have the referee, you got the two guys, you get in, they stare each other down, and then they just act on instinct because there was no bell. Ding to start the match, which is one of the fundamental things you need in either a boxing match or the most rinky-dink wrestling show that you're ever going to see. So there was no bell. Okay. And, the order of the matches, you're a brand new promotion with a brand new thing, and one of the first things you have is a battle royal. Now, you're having a battle royal. Why are you having a battle royal? What's the end game for the battle royal? And is this battle royal making sense? And, there was no theme to it. There were matches just to be having matches. There was a fatal 8-way for the SPW, was it the North American Championship, or what? It was just a bunch of things. And myself and some of the seasoned boys that were watching, they were either watching with their mouths wide open or just laughing so hard that they almost puked in the wine glass. Now, I'm not one to talk about people, but it was really, really. It was really something to see, and
what? Hey,
yeah.
What? Tell Felix about it's a debut show, Felix.
Mm-hmm.
They have a champion. Debut show.
Okay.
Defending the belt.
Yeah. You know what? I would take that back. The way I recollected was they had a champion, and then the championship got dropped to a seasoned guy named Drew Skills. But the way I remember it, the way I thought I saw it, was they had a champion already, and he lost the belt. Now, Seabo can come on, and he can correct it. That's what I thought I saw. But if I saw what I thought I saw, my question is, okay, how do you have a new program and you have a champion? If you just a brand new show. Did you call a guy up and tell him you're the champion and you can get the belt when you come in? And if so, how do you drop the strap the first night? That's worse than three guys. That's worse than a couple of guys winning the tag champs in London, England, and then dropping it the next night. That doesn't make no sense.
Oh man. That's
you
terrible.
have the belt just long enough to make it an accessory, like a 17-year-old going to the prom. Then the next night you got to give it back like you rented the belt, so now you got to turn them in. We might as well give them a damn deposit, but that's another story. That's a totally another story. I'm getting off subject. I'm getting off task. But it's just. But you know what? See, here's the thing. Jeremy, if you're listening, I don't discourage you from moving forward. You all got to learn. I just hope that whatever mistakes you made or whatever happened that went wrong, and then, too, the advertising, marketing, promotion of it, I don't know how you did it. He said Facebook, Craigslist, that he tried to get, Craigslist and some flyers. Now, Craigslist is either to sell a refrigerator or to get a girl a date rate. That's what I thought Craigslist was for. But if it's to promote wrestling shows now, then somebody tell me something. The Craigslist killer was getting victims on Craigslist. So I wouldn't go on Craigslist to buy a goldfish bowl, but that's just me.
Right.
He had very poor attendance. It was about 20 people. He relayed to me that he lost his shirt, and how could he not? Because, 20 people came, and out of the 20 people that was in the room, 10 of them was his staff. there were more boys there than there was, patrons to watch it. So what I'm saying is, all kidding aside, if he wants to do it again, and I've been reading on Facebook that he's planning another big move or something like that, just learn from your mistakes. See, that's the best thing. It's better to experience that than, Sir Mo try to tell him something and then he don't listen, or some people giving him advice he don't listen. It's trial and error. You got to learn for yourself. I mean, we made a lot of mistakes. And I told him this. We were all green at one time. Every last one of us. I was the greenest of the green because I got in the wrestling business and wasn't even in the wrestling business. So what did I know? I use the cheeseburger McDonald's analogy for us to keep my job. Absolutely nothing to do with wrestling whatsoever. But what I told him was, when I first went to McDonald's to work out of high school, the only thing I knew was how to go up there and order a quarter pounder. When I got behind the counter, it was a whole different world of how it works to produce that food. And that's what the cheeseburger analogy and wrestling for me was. Watching it on TV and then being in the inner circle backstage and learning how things really work in that world, that was the fundamental difference. That's what the cheeseburger analogy is about. And this is what Jeremy Seabolt, this is what he experienced trying to run that show, learning hopefully, prayerfully, what not to do next time. Because he had to learn more of what not to do than what to do.
I think what he needs to do, is he needs to humble himself. And, I think he needs to humble himself and accept the advice from people that know. I'm not saying he needs to humble himself and call me and say, hey, man, will you help me out, blah, blah, blah. I'm not saying that. I tried to help the guy out, but I think that he needs to humble himself, and he needs to pick one person that's been around this business, that knows this business, that knows not just wrestling, but knows how to promote wrestling. There's a difference in being one of the boys and knowing how to show up at a show and put boots on and get in the ring and wrestle than knowing how to book talent, set up advertisers, get sponsors, book a venue. I mean, because here's the thing, man. The number one thing, the first thing that you got to do when you promoting a wrestling show is you got to think in your head, venue first. Venue. Once you lock in the venue, then you have to look at the venue and you got to say, card. Now I got to figure out what card I need to put how many people in this venue. With the venue that he had, man, with the pictures that I've seen, with what I've told as far as the size, I wouldn't have put not one single solitary name on that show with that venue. As small as that venue was, I wouldn't have put one single solitary name on that show. It being my debut show, I would have spent the majority of the money just advertising pro wrestling, professional wrestling. You don't have any angles. You don't have anything to go with. There was a time when you could just look at the marquee and see professional wrestling, and it didn't matter whose name was on there, who was going against who. People bought wrestling. And people that love wrestling will go see wrestling if they know about it. If they don't know about it, you can have Al Snow, you can have Kurt Angle, Sting. If people don't know that they're going to be there, you're not going to draw. So he just needs to humble himself and listen to some people that's in the know.
All right, well, let's see if he's going to humble himself and listen to some people that's in the know. Jeremy, what's up, man? Hello?
You there, Jeremy?
Yeah, I'm here.
What's up, man?
What's going on, guys? I see I'm getting a rave review, huh?
Well, it's not so much as a rave review as pretty much a lesson on what we need to do next time. But go ahead. What's up, man?
Well, there's a few things that you guys said that I want to address. And then we can go from there. You guys can respond to what I want to address, and we'll go from there. Does that sound fair?
Yeah.
All right. First thing is, number one, there was not any 8-man match for any belt specifically. The North American title that you were talking about was a match between Chase Stevens, former TNA talent, and a gentleman named Colin Cambridge. And that actually got great reviews by pretty much everybody there that said that was the match of the night. So I just want to clarify that. Number two, there were no champions coming into the show. The purpose of the Battle Royal was the final two guys faced off later in the night for the heavyweight title, which came down to Cliff Compton, former WWE star, and Drew Skills. Also, as far as the event goes itself and people talking crap, maybe, Oscar, you heard something different than what I did, but generally everybody I talked to said the show is fairly decent for being a first-time show. With that being said, obviously there's things I could have done better. There are things I learned from, and there's things that I'm going to do to improve the show. But the bottom line is everybody has to start somewhere, like you guys said, and just because, I chose not to take your advice and take the advice of somebody else doesn't mean that I did things completely wrong. That's just my opinion on it.
Mm-hmm. All right, well, are you running again? And if you are, when?
I'm absolutely running again. We were supposed to run December the 19th, but it's very likely that we're going to cancel that date and wait till the first of the year and come out fresh the first of the year. But, it is what it is. So, I've got guys that have been in this business. As an example, Chase Stevens. I'm talking to Chase Stevens right now on Facebook, and he's got nothing but positive things to say and words of encouragement. And, telling me if I need any help to let him know that he's more than happy to help me. And Chase is a guy that I would take his word for it. He's been around a long time and is a very good talent.
Okay. Can I
I'm
step in?
glad I got a handle on things. Good.
Can I step in now? Because,
absolutely.
It seems like to me that he's taken everything that was said by us as discouragement when nothing we said was discouraging. We acknowledge certain things that we were told, and certain things that we recognize. For example, my thing was the small venue. I wouldn't have put a name on the card. That's just me. That's just my opinion.
Well, I disagree with the venue. The venue itself isn't small because standing room only. We could have put several hundred people in there. Now, granted, that didn't happen. There were reasons why that didn't happen, but the venue itself is not small. It's got a whole upper level that if we would have had a bigger crowd, we could have sectioned things off, and you could easily pack several hundred people. They're having Trista the rapper in there next week and anticipating 500 people, so you can't call a venue that holds 500 people small.
That venue will hold 500 people with the ring in there?
No, with the ring, it would probably hold 300 to 400 standing room. With seats, it would not hold 300 to 400. But with people moving around and going to the bar and things, you could easily put 300 people in there with the ring.
Okay.
Easily.
Okay. Well, I do
believe. I don't know who called you, and like you said, you guys aren't going to name drop, and that's fine. About whoever said they would take a payday to come back and laugh at my show. But, it is what it is. I'm not trying to bash anybody, but, I've heard not positive things about your company as well, Mo. So,
nobody was trying to bash you either, Jeremy. We're on a radio program that we know you listen to weekly. It's not something that's being said behind your back. Number one. Number two, nobody was saying anything discouraging. We actually were saying that we hope that you learn from this, because Oscar admitted that we ourselves made mistakes. that he even made a joke about Men on a Mission winning the tag team belt for 2 days overseas. So it wasn't a bad smash mouth pro wrestling as much as it was, discussing it because it was a question asked by somebody on his Twitter account. It wasn't a bash you. It was more of a say, okay, so he made these mistakes. Let's hope next time, and I believe this was said several times, let's hope next time that he does things different and that he's willing to humble himself to listen to somebody when they try to give him a piece of advice. And I myself personally said, I don't expect him to humble himself and listen to me, but somebody that's in the know. So.
Well, does Chase Stevens count as somebody in the know that I could humble myself to and listen to?
Of course. Chase Stevens has been around a while, so of course I don't know him personally, but from his career and the things that I've seen him do and things that I know about him, I have nothing but the utmost respect for him. The point is, nobody was bashing, because if we were bashing, we would have just came on the show and said, you know what, Felix, that was the worst piece of shit event I ever seen in my life, for it to be a first show. It started out this way and then it had this and then this and then this. No, that wasn't even the goal. The goal was just to simply answer a fan's question about the Smash Mouth show. Now, if we're supposed to come on here and have a show, and then when the fans ask us a question, are we supposed to sugarcoat and tell a lie, or are we supposed to just be honest about, our assessment of what it is? If you ask me about something about WWE, I'm not going to sit here and say, oh, man, it was da-da-da-da-da, so's not to get heat with Triple H or so's not to get heat with Vince McMahon. If I see bullshit, I'm going to call it bullshit. And I have many times before. I've had Oscar on the radio say, man, tone it down a little bit, man. We don't want to. It's not about getting heat. It's about being honest. And if you can be honest with yourself and we can be honest with ourselves, this is how we improve, bro.
No, absolutely being honest. And that's why I called in to correct the things that you said that were inaccurate about my show. And to throw out the fact that, there are things that were done wrong, absolutely. The guy that brought the ring was supposed to bring a bell. He didn't do that. At showtime, we had to run with it. I mean, not every show goes on without a hitch. You can't tell me every show you know has been perfect. You know what I mean?
If somebody asks me about my show, and there's like 5 different things that's wrong with my show, you know what my honest answer is going to be when somebody asks me about my show? I'm going to come on the radio or I'm going to go on TV and say, you know what? It was not the best show that I could have possibly put on. There was like 5 monstrosities that happened on that show. I'm not going to name all 5, but there was 5 monstrosities that happened on that show. But you can bet your bottom dollar on my next event, those 5 things that went wrong, I'll try to have them corrected. See, that's being honest. That's being honest. That's being honest. Not coming in, making an excuse. Well, we didn't have a bell because the guy that brought the ring didn't bring the bell. And
that's not an excuse. That's the truth. And that's something that I'm saying will not happen again.
All right. Guess what? I'm sure that you and Chase Stevens will get it all worked out. I wish you well in the next event, and thanks for calling in.
I invite you guys to check out my show Saturday because I'm going to get some scoops on what happened and different things too. So I'm putting out a podcast on Saturday. I invite you guys to check it out and call in.
All right, you do that.
We'll do it.
We just want to let you know, too, that Dreamy Mimi has joined the cast. Welcome, Mimi. Happy Thanksgiving to you.
Happy Thanksgiving to you, too, Felix. How you guys doing tonight?
All right. How
doing
you?
Doing good.
I'm doing good.
Hey, have you guys ever noticed that Felix sounds like, one of those preppy, high water pants wearing college white boys? Have you guys ever noticed that? That's what he sounds like on the radio show?
Yeah, he is. He is incredibly proper.
It's funny, though, because, he sounds like that, and I'm thinking in my head, man, right? With the Izod sweater on and the high water jeans, and going to some Ivy League school, right?
And so
then you look at his Facebook profile picture, and you're thinking, that's not the same dude, man.
Yeah, he got facial hair and everything.
Yeah, that's not the same dude. Really? Wow.
That is too funny.
That's hilarious, man.
He looked like a well-mannered King Henry VIII.
Hey, dude, I was thinking to myself, man, what's this guy trying to pull, man? This dude got a Punjabi picture on his Facebook page, but he sounds like, this white kid. What's going on?
Well, guys, I just want to let you know, and excuse me for butting in, but we do have Dreamy Mimi.
But Mimi's used to this. We deal with this every week, eh, Mimi?
Yeah, I'm used to the dancing and messing with each other, and yeah.
Jesus,
they were
like
dancing with each other. When was this?
Huh?
I thought
you said that Mo and Oscar were dancing with each other. I was like, when was this? When did we get this Facebook? I'm like, damn, we got to get Facebook.
I think she said bantering.
Okay, we done more than that, but that's off the radio.
Yeah.
My bad.
That's all right. That's all right.
All right, now, so Mo, I just got something to tell you. I want you to kind of behave a little bit, because Pastor Curtis Whitaker's coming on in a little while to talk about Ferguson. And I know that you discussing, you can keep your S-words and your F-words and your this, that, and the other two, not even a minimal or non-existent, while a good pastor is on the radio.
Hey, man, come on. I can't say the freaking word?
No, you cannot.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Gotta keep it all good fun.
Glad I thought about it to give you that heads up.
When is the pastor coming on?
He should be coming on in a little while, because we gotta gotta install a bleep button just for you.
No.
I probably should try to get that installed. No, I'm just kidding.
No. Come on, now. Ain't that ridiculous?
I needed it last week.
You know what? I can't lie. I probably need it myself on my show, because I get a little expletive myself with the extra vocabulary I like to include in my repertoire.
These people make you go there. They make you go there.
No, that's true. People do make you go there sometimes.
When y'all told me last week, wait a minute, hey, Mimi, what was my expression last night? And I didn't even know I had one when I saw that New Day vignette.
Oh, yes, please comment on that.
No, That was the funniest thing ever, you guys. Look, we were sitting watching Raw, right? Now, he's watching TV. When that vignette came on, he was sitting there, mouth wide open, just stunned. I'm looking at him. I told him I was laughing so hard. I said, I wish I started videotaping you on the cell phone while you were watching the vignette, because, I'm like, he was stuck. His mouth was wide open. Like, just stunned. Like, I can't believe I'm watching this mess.
Wow. Told you.
Man, I just want to know, and we ain't getting to no WWE speak until later, after the WWE report, and Raw was this. They just throw this one together segment, but I just gotta say, I just don't know how many times, even after death, that we are just going to get ripped off and just twisted around in so many different ways and circles that it just don't make no sense.
Hey, bruh, I'm just going to say it like this right here. That is an example of my biggest pet peeve with the business. that we always get pushed to the back of the line on everything. Everybody else gets priority, and then we get pushed to the back. They use everything that we create, and we benefit from it not, and they benefit from it all the time. And that is my biggest pet peeve about this whole industry. That's the biggest thing that just irks my nerve is to think that, we put in something 115% and we get nothing out of it, but then somebody else turns around and use what we create and then they benefit from it, and we get not even recognized for it. Nothing.
Yeah, I mean, it's. I just, I try to let it. I try to let it roll off my back and then see the historical value of it. But I mean, you got to understand, it really does get tiresome after a while.
Right.
And then when they do a variation of something that's just looks so, so bad. I mean, let me tell you like this, and I read this today. They could not even debut the New Day at Survivor Series or Raw because they knew they were kind of sketchy about that depiction of black people, and they didn't want to be the ones to stir the pot no more because of what was going on, in Ferguson, Missouri. Now, if you got the mind to do that, and you got to question your depiction of a people or a culture, what does that say about what you're doing or the message you're sending?
Right.
To piggyback off of that too, Oscar, with the results obviously that happened in Ferguson, and that's been such an issue talked about, people out here in California, on our 5 freeway, decided to get up there and be brave and stand in the middle of the entrance to the freeway and decide they want to block traffic. I'm like, I don't know how smart that is or not, but good God Almighty. I just had to piggyback off that because it reached all the way out here. I didn't think it would, but it did.
No, it was all over the country, man. The night it started in Ferguson, it started in New York City the same time. It was up in Chicago, Minnesota. I mean, it's been all over the country. People have been doing stupid stuff all over the country. And not to get into a long thing about it, but I'm hurt by all of it, man. I'm hurt. I'm hurt. Number one. Number two, I'm kind of embarrassed. You know what I mean? Because because you have to read all day long on Facebook how we're being called savages and idiots and retards and monkeys and and yeah, they can say, well, we're talking about the people in Ferguson. No, you're not. If you're talking about the people in Ferguson, you're talking about all of us. You know what I mean? Because that's what you're doing. You're talking about all of us. And so, I've gotten angry, I've gotten hurt, I've cried about it, but then I had to stop and think, you know what? That stuff that's happening in Ferguson, you know what I mean? And the stuff with the police stopping black people and just that whole mess, it has absolutely nothing to do with me. You know what I mean? And when I say it has nothing to do with me, I've been stopped by the police for no reason. You know what I mean? I've been put on the ground for no reason. But when they stopped me, I followed every command. When they told me to get my black butt on the ground, I followed every command. You know what I mean? Me being black in this country hasn't stopped me from making money. It hasn't stopped me from getting 2 college degrees. It hasn't stopped me from, buying a vehicle, having my own house, having my own flat screen TV. So, it's all about choices, man. And people.
Did I hear that you were also going to pursue a third degree as well, Mo?
I am. You know what? I'm trying to decide if I want to get a master's degree in marketing or go to law school. Because
a lawyer. Can you imagine Mo as a lawyer?
I'm always trying to talk.
So, see, here's the problem. back in, I want to say 90 or 91, and I'm going back to the Rodney King incident. The Rodney King incident happened where everybody saw, you saw guilt on tape. It was like surreal watching a movie. You saw a crime being committed by police officers to a black man, and what wound up happening was they wound up getting off. Now, when you watch that, you see him got off scot-free, basically. You can understand the anger and the outrage, but here go the part that didn't make no sense, that just made us all look bad. They tore L.A. apart, but the part of L.A. they tore was their own stuff. They burned down their own stores in their community, their own everything. Now, the aftermath of that, what happened after, was when you wanted to go to the store to get a loaf of bread, you couldn't go to the store to get a loaf of bread. You done burnt the store down. Right. The mailman couldn't come. The mailman wasn't coming in the middle of them hoods to deliver your check. So you had to wait days to get your check, then go to the post office to get it, and we know in the post office, that worked like a dream, right? Then when you got your check, you went to go cash it, but you went to go cash it, you just gutted out the check cashing place, and the cashier got open, so you had to go 10 towns over to go cash your check. So the point is, what happened is, the analysis is this. It's just like something happened, you get mad, go outside your house, burn your house down, and look at the white folks and say, well, I done showed you. I done burned my house down to the ground, but look, I done showed you. Hey, this is what we do. Okay, see, they not going to let us go to Beverly Hills. They not going to let us go to affluent communities and loot and gut out. They will let us burn up our own stuff, but they not going to do it. And once you burn your own stuff down because you're mad, you're angry, who are you punishing? Who are you showing? I mean, who are you getting back at? So, it makes us all just look, it just makes us all look just terrible.
Man, I there was a lot of my friends that were making a lot of jokes and stuff about it, on Facebook, and I was sending them messages saying, man, please stop. Just, don't keep making jokes and negative comments. That all it does is instigate more dialogue, negative dialogue, because we're friends, and I don't want to feel like, you think that this is funny, you're my friend, and when I say friends, I'm talking about my white friends. Yeah. I keep sending them messages, man, please stop. Just, please stop with the comments, and a couple of them stopped. They said, man, we don't mean no harm. We just it's not funny. And then a couple of them didn't stop. A couple of them was like, I have a right to my opinion. And you're right. You do have a right to your opinion. But if your friend is saying to you, man, that your opinion is offensive, you know what I mean? Then, is it going to hurt you to keep your opinion to yourself? So I don't know, man. I hate the whole situation. I wish it would just go away.
As a minister and a woman of common sense, how does a nation or a people heal behind something like this? Dreamy?
Yeah, I'm here. Yeah. Repeat the question, please.
I said, as a minister, from a political perspective, how does a nation and a people heal when these atrocities happen to a people and they vent? What should they do?
At this point, it's not at this point, but any point, the only thing that we can do as a people in general is pray, because if the situation is so far gone and so far out of hand, there's nothing to do but that for something to start changing and lining up, because from the head to the tail, everybody is wrong. from like the way we handle things when the verdict came out and things like that. It's expected. It's expected for blacks to act a fool when things don't go the way that we feel that they should go.
Right.
And we as blacks need to understand that and get to the point where we start handling things differently.
Do you feel like, Felix? Do you feel like though in that whole situation yesterday, blacks were set up to failure? I mean, think about this, man. They waited until 9 p.m. at night to give the verdict. You know what I mean? They didn't do it at 9 a.m. in the morning. They waited all day, man. They announced that they were gonna give the verdict and basically have people standing on pins and needles, waiting to hear, and then they wait to the hours at night to do it, man. I mean, what was the purpose behind that? Waiting till 9 o'clock at night.
Maybe some people felt too that there would be no looters or no protesters out at that time of night, that maybe they would wait and do it in another time or not do it at all.
I mean, when do you think looters and muggers and arsonists come out, Felix? They come out at night.
I understand that too, but I mean that you got to think. I'm trying to put myself in their shoes as far as what they're trying to think about this, and because honestly, I was young enough, but I was still around to understand what went down with Rodney King back about 20 plus years ago, and then to see things happen, things like that when people react. And to be honest, you know what? I don't go to church, but I do believe in God, and what I do believe is, rather than go out and destroy the whole damn neighborhood that you live in. Or just to make a point, there is no point behind that. People will get punished, and I believe karma does come back to get you. It may not come right away, but it'll come back to get you. And all these people that have done wrong and don't get punished and get off scot-free, the good Lord's watching. Let me tell you, they'll get what's coming to them.
If it was
That's all
me,
I got to say. You don't have to go out and destroy your damn neighborhood. What's that prove? It doesn't prove anything.
If I was a thug, and if it was me, and if I was going to destroy anything, I would have burned down the police department or the DA's office. I wouldn't have went and destroyed my neighborhood. You know what I mean? I mean, what sense does that make? Attack the. If you're going to be ignorant, at least be ignorant enough to attack the people that are in control of it.
Yeah.
So.
But see, the problem is a lot of times, a lot of the people that are doing the looting and things like that, they don't have any political stance in the situation. They don't care really. It's just a matter of I'm finna go out here and act a fool with everybody else. So that's the sad part about it, because it's like we jump on the bandwagon and just want to run around and act the fool, and then you're making us look bad. So it's like, okay, when we have situations like this, it's time for us to find a different way or a better way to handle these things, because that's not solving anything.
Yeah. Yeah, but what happens? What does it do for those of us that don't participate in that stuff? You know what I mean?
What you look bad.
What is our future outlook? You know what I mean? When we go and try to do something. Right, yeah. See? But how do we reach our people, man? How do we reach our people? Because the people that we expect to reach them, the people that most black people expect to reach them, the Jesse Jacksons and the Al Sharptons, those guys don't care, man.
And you just hit the point on the head.
Trying to bring them in.
You just hit the point on the head. Where are our real black leaders? And by black leaders, I mean the people who really care about the people, want to see the people.
You can even say Dr. King.
Yeah, have ideas instead of these people that they call themselves our leaders, but they only have their own agenda. You know,
right.
and when black people see this, they see through it, so they don't follow you. You know, Martin Luther King really stood for something, but he didn't just stand for black people. He stood to try to make sure everybody got along and everybody saw that. You know, after Malcolm X's pilgrimage to Mecca, you know, he was a militant Muslim for years, but when he went to Mecca, he decided to embrace the brotherhood of all men because he knew that all men were created equal, and there had to be, instead of a great divide, there had to be a great coming together of everybody, because he realized that the message was white, black, red, or brown. Basically, we all in this together. So if you all wake up and open your eyes and see this, it can not only be one great black community, one great America, but one great global community. These are the things that we don't teach our children no more. We don't teach our people no more.
Hey, guys, so we do have Pastor Whitaker on hold. Whenever you guys are ready, I can bring him on.
Oh, go ahead. I mean, then we're going to bring Pastor Whitaker on.
Just what you just said about us not teaching our children anymore. That's the problem. It goes back to the community leaders and the community basically building solid families, teaching the family strengthening the families and teaching people how to be a family unit, how to raise your children. A lot of times it's a single family home, so the people and the communities have to come together to help each other, first of all, so that it can trickle all over, and then the community leaders start coming together. But right now, it's a cancer and a poison, and it's spreading.
All right.
So it's a bunch of negativity.
Speaking of community leaders and people that have potential to be that, now I'm not sure he went that role, but that's pretty much what he looked like to me. Pastor Curtis Whitaker, how are you, young man?
No, I'm doing wonderful. And yourself?
Man, we are deep in this discussion about this whole Ferguson thing, which you brought it to my attention because I didn't even really know what was going on. What is your take on this whole thing, and take all the time you need?
Well, first, thanks for having me on the show. You and Mimi and your other guests and callers. Part of what I look at Ferguson, look at through a little different lens, because I was there early on when folks were protesting this tragic event in Ferguson. So I'll just give some context, because part of what I experienced in peacefully protesting was and were hostile, a hostile environment, and it was the police, unfortunately, who were the agitators, making the peaceful protest turn to something other than peaceful. I think what you see currently, or have seen over the last couple of days, is just the emotion of the people. And when there is a sense of injustice that people feel has occurred, and then there is no way for youth to talk about what they have gone through and have been experiencing and processing, then whatever it is that's bubbling up like a volcano, whatever it is that's bubbling up in them will explode and come out in some way. And unfortunately, we've seen it come out in a way that may not be most productive.
Now, how do we not just Ferguson, Missouri, but as a nation, how do we heal? How do we come back from this? And ultimately, what do we need to steer us on the right path? I just said that we don't have any strong black community global leaders anymore. Where did that go, and how do we get back to that? Because our people need a path.
Well, I think instead of looking for a global one leader, I think each of us in our community should step up and be what we're looking for or what we think should exist. And what I mean by that is each of us has some sphere of influence, and we should utilize that to our fullest extent. And so you mentioned it, and you're exactly right, in communities across America. So this was not just localized to Ferguson. What you're seeing is a new sort of movement. And it's not just, I was in Chicago yesterday, and at City Hall, they were protesting the events that occurred, the results of the grand jury in Chicago. I was looking on the news, and cities across the United States, large and small, they're protesting. And it's not just black folks that are protesting. It's folks of all hue and race that are saying, that this was one tragedy, but that the verdict was to some a sense of injustice. And I think folks feel that way because in America we still have a race issue and a class issue, and until we are bold and brave enough to have some real discussions with those who we disagree with, to try to help each other understand other, we'll unfortunately continue to see things like this happen all across the United States. And so one of the things is that makes me sort of different. I have a 3-year-old son, and I have to share things with my son that maybe my white friend does not have to share with his son. What do you do when you're pulled over by the police? Keep your hands where they can be seen. And speak with respect to the officer, and you can do all the right things and still end up in a tragic situation. So I think we just, as a people, as a nation, we need to stop fooling ourselves that we live in a post-racial society, that since the president has been elected, there is no longer a race issue. I think we're gullible if we believe that, and that we need to begin having those discussions all across the United States. And now is a good time.
Now, you just brought up what I really wanted to touch on. It's a tough question. Has Obama let us down as a people? We expected so much from him, especially as black people. We expected the racial divide to get closer. We expected his protection from these kinds of issues, and it has not happened. It's probably done gotten worse. Is that his failure, and what can he do to help the situation?
Again, I go back, and I don't think it's his failure. I do think a lot of people placed a lot of faith, and probably undue faith, in the president and what he might be able to accomplish as president of the United States of America. He has done a lot. Could he do more? Yes, the answer is yes. Has he done a lot? The answer is yes. But you got to remember, you just look at, I was watching, I can't remember what late night TV show it was, but one of the late night TV show hosts went out on the street and just started talking to folks and said, hey, do you like Obamacare? And they said, no, we despise Obamacare. And I think, well, do you like the Affordable Care Act? Yeah, we think that's great. And so
right.
I think it goes back to this whole thing with race, and we're not beyond our racial feelings and sensitivities, and that there needs to be discussion about that in our society. It's not just about race, but it's also about class and poor folk versus what folks have placed people against each other, and pitting poor against poor, white poor against black poor, and it didn't just start. I mean, we've been dealing with this for a long time. And I think Dr. King was on to something when he said, we just need to have a poor people's march. It makes no difference what color you are. We're all in the same predicament and condition. And until those who are, the 1%ers of the world who control, a lot of the wealth, until they see that we are united and connected and we are all in one struggle together, then, we will always continue to be pitted against each other. So there just needs to be some honest dialogue and discussion. People can be emotional and have emotion, but listen to the other. And I think if we did that and we're honest that we can move forward in a different way, and that is a discussion maybe the president should start, but it doesn't just have to, everything has to lie on the president. We can have those discussions with others who may see the world or look at the world differently than us. And if we just start having those discussions, I think we can make some headway.
It's a whole thing with united we stand and divided we fall. Now, they have kept, especially, the black community, they have kept it and has kept itself divided for such a long time. And when you get the people divided, then you can conquer them because they're not together. I mean, if they don't stand together as an army, how are they going to defend themselves against any attack? If one person's fighting one way and another person's fighting the other way, and when they're not doing that, they're fighting each other. So, is that part of the problem?
Yeah, it is part of the problem within, and specifically maybe the African American community and probably some other communities. If we looked and did some research, it just seems like maybe other communities close ranks better than some of the black community do. And so even within the black community, there's definitely need for some discussion between black folk, those who are conservative, those who are liberal, those of a certain who believe they've, reached a place and that, may look at others as not, I've done it and, you should be able to do it too. And so they may look down on somebody else. So we just need to have even discussions within to see, what we can do as the African American people, as black people, to move forward in a way that's productive for our communities. I think I was listening to Mimi earlier, talking about the family and family structure and what we can do, and that's a start. We can stop and share with young brothers and sisters, make each of them feel special and important and a part of community. And as you know, that's what we try to do at our church. We try to make folks feel part of community. Part of it is also holding folks accountable And what I mean by that is, there are programs that are available, but don't just rely on those programs to think you're going to make it out. But, we went as a church, we went on a farm during the summer to learn about agriculture, and we're bringing that back to where we are in the heart of the city of Gary. But also we're thinking innovatively about community and what our community can be and what it can look like. And those are the things that we have to start doing, thinking outside of the box, thinking in, what I would call a 22nd century mindset, and bringing those thoughts and ideas to fore in the communities in which we are and which we serve. And I believe if when we do those things, others will say, hey, they're trying to do something to help themselves, and people are such a way that if they see you wanting to do something right, righteous, positive, most people will be willing to lend you a hand.
All right, Dreamy, I got one question for you on this topic. Obviously, we as men have to step up and take the reins and, try to lead these initiatives and everything to pretty much straighten our community, to sum it up. What do women have to do to support this whole movement?
Well, do just what you just said, support. Anything that, well, my first thing is I'm going to always go back to the thing that I said in the beginning, prayer. That's the biggest thing that we, especially as Christian women, we have to start coming together and pray. Pray for our leadership, pray for our men, pray for our children, pray for the situations that's going on. The word tells us if my people, which are called by my name, will humble themselves and pray, that's when I'll heal the land. And it's like we are not going back to that.
No, okay. All right, so, Pastor Whitaker, so tell us, what you got coming up, what kind of community stuff you got coming up, what's happening at the church, what do we got looking forward to moving from now to 2014, sir?
We got coming up in December the 4th. We got a community meeting happening. As you know, we are looking at God giving us a vision to transform the community in which we sit and serve in the Emerson area of Gary, Indiana. And so we've been meeting with pastors in the community at the church to talk about what that looks like and moving forward through Faith, which is our nonprofit organization, our outreach ministry of the church, looking to see if we can galvanize the community from a grassroots perspective to see the vision that God has given us for the community. And then following that, that's December the 4th, and then December the 11th, we'll be back at the church. We've been a part of the Indiana Moral Monday movement in Indiana. It's a movement that's taken off across the United States of America. Just sort of started earlier this year in Indiana, where we are 5 core demands: environmental justice, expansion of health care in the state of Indiana, education equality in the state, and a number of other issues, economic justice, a number of other issues that we are going down to the State House and demanding that the governor and those who are in power will hear the voice of those who are being left behind. For instance, Indiana ranks 47th in infant mortality. That's the number of children who die before they reach the age of 1. Out of 50 states, we rank 47th. We're the 47th worst state. I believe there is something that we as a state can do something about. We rank 40th out of 50 states in overall health and health outcomes. And, I believe we can raise our voices and share in such a way that we can speak truth to the power that exists in Indianapolis so that we can be a both and state. And what I mean by that is read recently that Indiana ranked number 7th in overall business health. And so while we're paving the way for businesses to prosper and be successful, it seems like we're doing the opposite of that for the folks who live and work in Indiana. And we want to be both a business-friendly state as best we can be, but we also want to be a healthy state, and we want to have healthy babies. And so we need to, if we're going to do that, we need to get engaged and involved and say no more to what I would call the genocide of our children in Indiana by not putting the resources that need to be in place to ensure that these infants can not only make it through the first year, but then survive and thrive in life. So December 11th, come and join us December 11th as we host Indiana More Monday Gary and talk about those issues that are affecting the lives of all Hoosiers in the state.
Yeah, okay. And finally, the biggest question of the night, I hope you're ready for this one. This is going to take some brain power. What time is dinner tomorrow?
What's for dinner?
What time is dinner tomorrow? Yeah, that's the biggest question.
Oh, what time is dinner? Oh, probably 2 or 3 o'clock. One of those two times. We got a lot of food prepared, and so 2 or 3 o'clock, and you guys are more than welcome to come over and join.
All right, because I want to get there half hour early to get a jump on everybody else, but that's just me.
Understood.
All right, thank you, Pastor Whitaker. It's an honor to have you on. We're going to have you on again real soon, and I'm going to see you tomorrow. This is not just my pastor, but my brother. So, we'll be over there tomorrow, young man.
All right, thank you both, Dreamy Mimi and Oscar, for having us on the show from Progressive Community Church in Gary, Indiana.
All right.
We thank you and keep up the great work.
What's happening?
All right, keep up the great work. Bye now.
All right, thanks. Pastor Curtis Whitaker, Progressive Community Church. We're going to take a commercial, and we'll be right back with the WWE Report.
All right, back in a moment, folks.
At the beach, Matt Carlson has the Snickers to keep hunger at bay. Packed with peanuts, Snickers handles hunger, and now Matt is ready for anything. Feeling rejuvenated, Matt decides to catch a monster wave, but steps on an anthill. The ants attack, and he is spotted by the judges of a nearby dance contest, who award him first prize, a trip to Tokyo. While there, Matt attends a popular game show where he defeats one of Japan's top wrestlers. This impresses mystery guest, WWE superstar Ric Flair, who partners with Matt to win the WWE Tag Team title. Eat a Snickers and become a WWE champion. Make it happen with Snickers.
Okay, so I looked down at my feet and looked at here. My corns have got corns, my blisters have blisters, and my bunions have got bunions. The ugliest thing even I've ever seen. And the swelling. What can I say about the swelling? I went to the beach and I stepped in the sand, and some wise-ass kid wrote Bigfoot was here. They're not even footprints. I've got dinosaur tracks in the sand. I went to my nephew's 8th birthday party, and they thought I had clown shoes. But they weren't clown shoes. They were my bare feet that were that swollen. I go to a podiatrist. He looks down at my feet, and his medical opinion is one word, damn. As he fainted, I left. So I go down to Freeman Foot Care. Dr. Freeman looks at my feet. She gives me the right medication. Now I'm shuffling off to Buffalo. Freeman Foot Care, where the moral is they know what the hell they're doing. Freeman Foot Care, with locations in Griffith, Indiana, and Gary, Indiana.
Man, these new WWF figures, they got real wrestling action.
In our man shows, everybody's got a price.
The American Dream will put you to sleep, and Hacksaw's gonna cut you down.
Ooh, he'll pay for that.
Let's watch Hogan with my new Macho Master. Man, Hulkster's gonna put the squeeze on you, and now you're taking the ultimate punishment. Let's get ready!
Popcorn, all of ya!
New WWF figures so close to the real thing, like being in the ring.
Once again, it's time to take a look back at what we saw on Monday Night Raw. Not Your Mama's Radio Show presents The Raw Report with Dreamy Mimi.
Well, we are going to postpone that for just a moment, folks. Mimi is stepped away for just a moment, but we do still have Oscar and Mo with us. What the heck was that?
Yeah, Yeah, what was that?
I think it might be the backlash from somebody's phone.
Okay.
Well, I don't know. Either way, we're back, folks. We're back. Hope you enjoyed those commercials. Those definitely took me back to my youth, especially those WWF figures.
Yeah.
Hearing Piper and Savage and DiBiase, and yeah, that's always fun for me.
Yeah, I've heard there's been some rave reviews on the Macho Man CD.
You know, I meant to send you. I didn't know about if you were going to be online at all over the last few days, Bobby. I did send a link over to Oscar, and I'm not sure if he's seen it or not, or even Mimi for that matter, but it is available online to watch. I don't encourage everybody to always do this. I encourage you definitely get the DVD because it is worth your while, and it is a well investment. Right. But yes, it is. You know what? It's a nice story. Has a good intro, good middle, good beginning, good his arrival in WWE. And marriage to Elizabeth, meeting his high school girlfriend 37 years later, and ended up marrying her a year before he passes, which was the sad part because he was really an American icon, really, that when he died, the whole world stopped and took notice.
Right.
I know that affected a lot of people, and I can definitely. I don't know if I can speak directly for you guys, but I imagine you guys can probably remember where you were when they announced that he had died.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, of course. Like I said last week, we got personal ties to Macho Man. So it's the Did they happen to shoot a Lex Express video on that thing?
What's that?
Did they happen to show the
Lex Express one? No. They cut out a lot of parts in there. They did mention rumors. They cleared up rumors that were really dirty, nasty rumors, but they left out a lot. I mean, they talked about Randy's transition from the ring to the announce booth and how he planned his retirement. Really, he wanted to do a 2-year show with Shawn Michaels back when Shawn was really coming into his own and really starting to be a big star. He wanted to plan a 2-year show with him where he would work with him up until, I believe it would have been maybe WrestleMania 10 or 11, and Randy would lose to Shawn at WrestleMania and then retire to the announce booth. He pitched that idea to the guys, and they shot it down.
Wow.
Well, Lanny had also told me that going back into the late 80s, I want to say, they had an old-timers battle royal. Lou Thesz, Chief Jay Strongbow, just a lot of the big names that were back in the day. And Randy's father really wanted to be a part of this. Angelo, if those who don't know, Angelo Poffo was a big-time wrestler way back when.
Right. Cool. Right.
He pitched the idea to have Angelo a part of it, and they shot it down. And Randy always he really lost a lot of respect for the guys and for Vince after that.
Wow.
And nobody really truly knows why he had been really blackballed from the WWF, but most are giving people speculation, of course, and me and Slim Jim the reason that he'd left, and also because of this battle royal that Angelo wasn't able to be part of. That it hurt Angelo's feelings because he was there. He was going to be a part there with a lot of his friends, and he wasn't able to be given that chance.
I could tell you for a fact that one of the things that really put a black mark on him and had him blacklisted, from WWE or a lot, whatever situations, after 1994, I want to say, was when he jumped ship from WWE to WCW. Vince was infuriated.
Yes, I heard he was definitely upset, and some would even say heartbroken. I don't know about heartbroken. I don't really know the relationship between those two and how good it was, if they were like really good friends, almost like brothers. And I don't know. Brad always said that he had like a father-son relationship with Vince kind of deal because he always looked up and respected Vince before '97.
Right. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't know. You never know what the private conversations between people are. But, I mean, it was a shock to everybody. I remember when it happened, I remember the feeling of the locker room at that time. I heard Undertaker, told a group of us that, he called them up, right after he got the news, and he was like, Randy, what are you doing, man? And I don't know what he said to him after that, but it was like whoa. And Mo, remember this? I mentioned this before. Right then, that's when he called. When we was in Liberty, New York, and he called everybody. He got the whole, not just the boys, but the whole WWE staff together, and told everybody under contract, and nobody else was going no damn where. Nobody.
Right.
Remember that?
Yeah.
No, I think too what had a lot to do was that Vince would always rely. His big thing was, and that's what he talked about a lot on the documentaries, is that Vince's deals was usually always by he was given by word or sometimes by a handshake. Nothing contractual. No contracts, because that's how Lex was able to get away. And I guess somehow, I don't know, with Randy's contract, if there was a loophole that he was able to kind of skip out and leave. But, yeah, that's when they started to bear down on a lot of the contracts. And, yeah, once yours was over, it would kill him to see, I'm sure, the guys jump over to WWE, like
I don't know where you got that information from. I'm sure that was how it was. I know that's how it was done during the tenure of Vince McMahon Sr., but I know by the time we got there, not only did we get contracts, our contracts were constructed like the third encyclopedia. I mean, there were about
my example would have been just the fact of Lex Luger. My biggest example would be Lex Luger, because Lex was working without a contract before he jumped over to WCW.
Yeah, he
hadn't actually made any deals yet. I'm sorry, go ahead. That was my biggest example, but I mean that's what I heard from the documentaries.
Did you work without a contract, Bo?
Well, here's what happened, man. Here's what happened with Lex, and it would have worked the same way with us. We just didn't know this. In the contract, you have right before your contract expires, 90 days before it expires, you have to give them notice that you don't intend to renew the contract.
Okay.
Right? That gives them an opportunity to say, well, okay, let's renegotiate. So you give them a 90-day notice that you don't intend to renew, and they have to give you a 90-day notice that they either intend to renew or don't intend to renew. So then you go into negotiations for that 90-day period. That 90-day period, they were in negotiations. They had come up with a dollar amount or whatever. Lex had already knew in his mind he was going to leave, so he wasn't going to agree to any dollar amount anyway.
True.
You see what I mean? So he appeared at the pay-per-view. He appeared at the pay-per-view, In Your House pay-per-view on Sunday night, and then walked into Monday Night Nitro's debut show in Minnesota on Monday night.
Yep, and that definitely blew a lot of people away.
Of course, it really screwed Nelson and I, because Luger and Davey Boy were supposed to get the tag belts from Yoko and Owen, and then they were supposed to go into a program against me and Nelson, because we had already had our confrontation TV match the day before, and then Lex showed up on Nitro. And they never did get a chance to even air that match. You have to look at it on the network on YouTube to even see that match now. Because Lex left right before it aired on TV.
And I'm sure they nixed that right away.
Of course, it just that was it, and then you'll notice out of nowhere the next week on Raw, you saw me and Nelson turning Davey Boy into a heel against Kevin Nash. That's what caused that whole thing. Because Lex left and showed up on Nitro, and it was like, okay, what do we do with Davey Boy? So we got to get him out of that picture, and so we turned him heel. Tagged him up with Kevin Nash that night, and then turned him heel against Kevin Nash. So
Yeah, I've heard nothing but good things
man.
about Davey. Davey was such a great guy too.
Man, he was, man, and the thing that I went through with Shawn Michaels, Davey Boy went through the same thing for another reason, but he went through the same thing because he came to me once and he said, man, they're just trying to starve you. And I'm like, what do you mean? He said, they've got you on the road, they're paying you a minimum amount of money. You're going to do one or two things. You're going to suck it up and deal with it, or you're going to quit. So I'm just telling you now, if you can suck it up, deal with it, it'll end, or you could just quit and walk away. Because he said it happened to him too. The exact same thing happened to him. It was like he worked every night. He went to every show every night, and they paid him the bare minimum amount of money where he could just barely live. You know what I mean? Where he couldn't afford to just quit. So.
All right, we are ready with the WWE reports, and let us have it. Dreamy me.
This is your WWE report for the week of November 23rd, 2014. Survivor Series to some was indeed one of the better shows in WWE in quite some time. In a four-way match, it would be The Miz and Damian Sandow, or Mizdow, to survive dethroning Goldust and Stardust, become the new WWE Tag Team Champions. A surprise, I'm sure, to quite a few fans. The question is, how long will this title reign last? AJ Lee has dropped the women's strap to none other than Nikki Bella. It is speculated that this is her swan song, retiring from WWE, as is her beau, CM Punk. There were quite a few talent members in attendance at last night's event who did not make an in-ring appearance. Among them, the Viper Randy Orton, as St. Louis is his hometown, and Roman Reigns, who was backstage but did not come out but delivered a message via satellite. In the Battle of the Crazies, Bray Wyatt and Dean Ambrose set off to see who is WWE's star psych patient. After going at it pretty hot and heavy, Ambrose would be victorious via countout. The feud will continue in 3 weeks at tables, ladders, and chairs. Team Cena is victorious in the opening. Chairman and resident deity Vince McMahon added a stipulation, as we know, if the Authority lost, they would have no more power in the WWE. However, Vince says you'll still have desk jobs, but no say-so in the day-to-day operations of the business. In short, the King, Triple H, and the Queen, Stephanie, would be dethroned. But Cena, and Cena alone, would have the power to restore them to greatness. As it turns out, Team Cena got the victory. Their fate is in his hands. Will he put their butts back on their incredibly high horse? It would seem unlikely, but in the WWE, anything can happen. And finally, it was the way they got the win that elevated this event. As Ziggler became a victim to the cerebral assassin, Triple H, it was thwarted by none other than the icon Sting. His much-anticipated return to wrestling, much to the delight of fans worldwide now. The question is, what will become of the legendary superstar? Will he face The Undertaker at WrestleMania, The Rock, maybe even Lesnar for the title? We will see what path they take him down. Look for Stone Cold Steve Austin's podcast soon to be heard on the WWE Network. On Monday Night Raw, Vince McMahon expressed his extreme displeasure against Stephanie and son-in-law Triple H. They have lost power in the WWE, and he told them to, quote, fix this. As we all know, the only way thus far to fix this is to convince John Cena to return them to power. Good luck with that. Now the question is, who will run Raw? Well, the Yes Movement was in full effect this past Monday. as Daniel Bryan made a surprise appearance and would be named temporary general manager to shake things up. Rusev had to either recite the Pledge of Allegiance or participate in a battle royal for the U.S. title. Not only did he not recite the pledge, the battle royal didn't happen either. Corporate Kane was made to sell popcorn, and Tyson Kidd and Natalya went up against Adam Rose and the Bunny, who incidentally outshined Rose in the ring. Big Show attempted to explain his actions for knocking out John Cena at Survivor Series, teaming with the Authority and selling out, but in the midst of his explanation, it became heel turn number 100 for Show. The WWE Universe was tasked to naming Seth Rollins' tag team partners for a match with Cena and Dolph Ziggler. They chose Joey Mercury and Jamie Noble. Cena and Ziggler made short work of the team to pull out a win. And finally, it's a new day in WWE. Xavier Woods, Kofi Kingston, and Big E will debut their new stable next week on Raw, and I can't wait.
I can't wait either. All right. We have our resident psychiatrist, Dr. David Reese, holding forth. He's going to give us his take on Ferguson. Dr. Reese, are you there?
Okay. Hello from San Diego.
Wait a minute. First off, how's the weather in San Diego? Because it's cold as hell everywhere else.
It was 80 today, so I didn't need most of my Boston clothing.
Oh, well, excuse us. All right, you have been following Ferguson, Missouri, from a psychological perspective, having treated thousands of officers under certain circumstances. First, tell us, what do you think of Officer Wilson's mindset at this time? And just give us
I mean, getting serious for a minute here, obviously, because this is a very tragic situation. But just to give you a little background, I'm not approaching this just as sort of an opinion. I worked for the San Diego Police Department for 10 years. I evaluated 200 cops who fired their gun in the lines of duty because they had to undergo a psychiatric evaluation before they went back to work. And I've evaluated probably 2,000 correctional officers, police from other departments. So what I'm going to say now comes from direct experience. Now, obviously, I never interviewed the officer in question. I never interviewed Darren Wilson. But what struck me about his statement, and of course we don't know who made it up, whether it was really him or not, and sadly this connects with what we're talking about, is his mentioning Hulk Hogan and his mentioning a demon. The one thing that struck me in my experience in working with cops is that in some of the most horrible situations that they've described to me, it was cold, it was clinical, it was very much the facts, and there was no mixing of fantasy figures with reality. Now, here you have someone in a obviously nationally highly sensitive situation, worldwide attention, and he's bringing in Hulk Hogan. Something's wrong here. There's a mixture here of fantasy and reality. Now, I don't know what was going through his mind, but if he was really thinking of Hulk Hogan at that moment, then he was mixing up fantasy and reality. I don't have to talk to where racism may come into that. I think that speaks for itself. But something is very wrong when you have an officer with a gun who's associating a human being with a wrestling figure and a demon. So just from that point of view, something here was very, very wrong. If I was evaluating this person for a fitness to duty, that would be one of the first things I'd say is this guy shouldn't be on the street. Now, again, maybe someone put him up to saying that. I haven't interviewed him. But if I was doing a fitness to duty on a cop, and I've done several hundred, probably 500 fitness to duties, not only San Diego, If someone came in and told me that, I would say they were psychiatrically unfit to go back on the street.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I haven't heard that reference, and you saying that just puts a whole spin on. I mean, it's like, okay, if he's making Hulk Hogan references, how could the grand jury not at least indict this man for manslaughter? But that's a whole other thing. And number two, is there anybody else, have you heard any of your colleagues or heard any news reports, and you would pick up on it, have you heard anybody else share that same sentiment?
Not only would I pick up on it, but if any of the cops that I evaluated, and I evaluated some where the shootings were quite questionable, not necessarily on racial grounds, but a lot where it was sadly, legitimate as far as I could tell. But if they heard another cop talk like that, they would consider it so unprofessional they would run the other way.
Wow.
I mean, the cops, and this includes correctional officers, not just, police, they pride themselves in being just the facts, no emotion, certainly no fantasy. And to compare a person you're struggling with in a life or death fight with basically a character in wrestling, something's very wrong, and it's unprofessional.
Wow, that's really deep. Somebody in a situation like that, and I mean, they gonna say something about Hulk Hogan and demons, then that prompted where their mindset was at or what they were seeing when they took a gun and killed this individual. I mean, that's basically what I'm getting out of it, or the bottom line of it. And if that's the case, then clearly it's something wrong with you.
Well, I mean, and this may sound funny. I actually don't mean it as funny, but this is something I would seriously ask if an officer said that to me. I would say, well, when you were experiencing it that way, who did you imagine yourself as? The Undertaker? Now, and I don't mean, I know that, it sounds funny. It is in a way. It's a very, but in a way, it's very, very serious. That was he really dealing with reality, or was he dealing with some fantasy situation in his mind?
Right. Oh my goodness! No, this is a really, really, it's a really sad situation. I mean,
it is. It is.
Mimi, if you was his shrink and he told you that, what would you do? Hello?
I think she's gone.
Oh, okay. Well, anyway, I don't know. I'm flabbergasted at that because that's the first I'm hearing of it. All right. So psychologically, as a community, how do we heal from a psychological perspective?
Well, the first thing is to recognize that justice. We need to keep fighting for justice, but we're never going to get justice. The best we could get is close to justice, and that's not in any way saying that there shouldn't be protests or we shouldn't strive for it. But to be realistic as to what the goals are, we want to make things better. We want to heal. We want to come together over this. But to realize that the society is sick, and all you have to do is go on Facebook or any other thing and see some of the comments, and I don't care what you think about the specific incident, the hatred, the misogyny that's out there is scary. We have to keep it in perspective, and those of us who do care about each other take that to heart and stay with it and try to, and if we could expand it to one person, we've done a lot. Healing the society is hopeless, but trying to heal each other, we can get somewhere.
Gotcha. Makes all the sense in the world.
Thank you for letting me say my piece. There aren't many forums where I could say this. And as I say, I come from a position of, being on the front line in these situations and evaluating people who've done these things.
Right. I appreciate it and understand that All right, I want you to enjoy your Thanksgiving. Are you at home now?
Oh, yeah, I'm at home for a couple of days here. I don't leave again until Monday. So, yeah, good Thanksgiving to everyone, and may we all heal and have peace and be together.
You too, sir.
Thanksgiving. See you Thursday.
See you Thursday in Boston.
All right.
Take care.
Whew. You know, sometimes you talk to people and sometimes you just get surprises. I mean, I haven't seen every interview or anything like that. Don't get me wrong, but that was a real shocker to me that he thought that. And not only that you think that, you even come out and say that out loud to anybody.
Right.
With all the darkness of this tragic event and the holidays coming tomorrow, I actually want to take a moment and pose a question to each and every one of you. And for those listening at home, I mean, really, it's just a question that we all could ask. Starting with you, Mimi, I got to ask you, dear, what are you thankful for? As Thanksgiving's here, it's time to give thanks. What are you thankful for?
I am thankful for my family and my friends, which some of them are more like family. But first of all, I'm thankful for being here. Because, I mean, just a year ago, by the doctor's standards, I wasn't supposed to be. So I'm grateful to be here.
You know what? The good Lord has a plan for you. That's why you're still with us.
Yep.
And
I'm grateful for my husband.
Of course. What we're going to do without Oscar? But
bullet in the
you
brain.
Want to pose a question over to you, Mo? What is it that you are thankful for this year, or in general?
Mostly, man, just being in the health to be sitting here on the phone right now with people I care about and love. You know, we have our differences, obviously, but at the end of the day, it's still family. And you know, there's this thing that we're always taught: never go to bed, you know, at night without telling your family you love them. So, you know, Oscar, Mimi, I love you guys.
I love you too, Mom.
I'm glad to know you, Felix. It's been a pleasure doing this radio program, and you know, I'm just eternally thankful that, you know, things have happened in my life recently, and God has shown me some things recently, you know, that I've had to take a few steps back and regroup and look at my life and look at a different path. And you know, this show has actually helped me make some decisions, and so I appreciate that, you know. But more than anything, I appreciate good health, the love of my kids and my family, and that does include Dreamy Mimi and Fat Boy.
And of course, we turn the mic over to the hype man himself, Oscar. What is it that you're thankful for, sir?
I'm thankful for the turkey and I'm thankful for the ham. I'm thankful for the biscuits and the raspberry jam. I'm thankful for the family and all my friends. We've got my differences, but more we're friends to the end. I'm thankful for Dreamy and she's my wife. Thank you for the Lord for sharing her life. I'm thankful for everybody, and I'm thankful for the Thanksgiving you see. I'm thankful for the kids. I'm thankful for the exes because I had the kids because we had sexes. Thankful for everything that I've got. I'm thankful for the times that I get hot. I'm thankful for this, and I'm thankful for that. I know my wife wanna hit me with a bat. I'm even thankful for my in-laws, even my father-in-law taking a pause for the cause. Thank you, everybody. Thanks that I'm living, and everybody, happy Thanksgiving.
That was great. That That was great. I have to give you credit. That was great. And I bet you just thought of that and just put it together right now.
Hey, it's a new day.
There you go. It is a new day.
It's a new
So,
day.
Felix, what are you thankful for?
Yeah.
Oh, well. Well, I guess you can say I am thankful for my friends. I'm thankful for my family. I'm blessed in the fact that I'm here as long as I have been, and hopefully here for a lot longer. I'm sure that the good Lord has a plan for me, and I'll be doing that plan soon. But I'm also very thankful and appreciative, and really happy with the success of my podcast, and adding on the additions, of course, and having you guys on the network as well. And just getting the opportunity to just talk to a lot of people that I grew up idolizing and watching on TV, and almost so much as to call them my friends. And I to say that I would have probably done something like this, asking myself as a kid, I probably wouldn't have thought of that. I wouldn't have even expected it. But I am very, very appreciative and thankful for the many blessings that continue to come into my life. And I know, as I always say on my show, the best is yet to come.
Mo, I got a major announcement. I just was scrolling through Facebook, and I just read the most incredible post. Would you like to know what it said?
Uh-oh.
I got to hear this. Jeremy Siebel has announced that he's going to have the Smash Mouth Pro Wrestling podcast start next week.
Yep.
He said he's going to
he put in hashtag the truth shall be said or some other.
Right. He's going to set the record straight
I don't know
about his wrestling show. He's going to call some people out, and 20 people went to his show. So the 20 people went to his show, how many people are going to tune into your podcast to listen to
I'm just
the
going to
show?
say, you know what? I don't know what happened there, and I just know by what I saw and what I heard. I don't know him personally, but judging from what I've heard, it wasn't that good. And I would reserve my opinion to myself, because I was always taught, if you ain't got nothing nice to say, just don't say it at all.
Yeah, but he's going to talk about the show that 20 people went to, but the people that didn't go to his show going to listen to his podcast about what happened to the show that they didn't go to.
I thank him for not being disrespectful on this show, because that's just not cool, and we don't put up with that. So thank you for not being disrespectful on the show.
No, I mean, there's no point. There's no point to be in it. I mean, like I said, we all make mistakes. But see, here's the thing: you can make another mistake. You running a wrestling show and they figured out how to get butts in the seats. Now you're gonna run a radio show and talk about a local show that ain't even caught on yet. So I mean, if you're gonna do a podcast, you can talk about national things. Though, hopefully he'll pick that up. He'll talk about Smash Mouth for a couple of weeks. If you got this from, if you can hear me, listen to me carefully, and I'm not ragging on you. If you got a podcast, you can talk about Smash Mouth for 2 hours next week all you want to. But after that, book some guests that people want to hear and people want to talk about. Talk about national wrestling or national issues or something like that. Use the platform for something positive.
There you go.
Because if I ran a show down the street, and 100 people came, then the only people that be listening to my show listen to me talk about that wrestling show I ran down the street.
There you go.
Not to mention, I mean, just to be for real on the thing. You know, we wasn't bashing the show, but he talks about how many people came to him and he's talking about how many people came to him and said it was a good show. And look, man, nobody on your show is going to come to you and truthfully say to you, man, this sucked, thinking that they might not get another booking.
Right, this was great. That is back and play it for good.
I mean, really. Like I was trying to tell him, dude, don't come on and make excuses. Just come on and accept the fact that it was a bad show, bad things happened, and I'll try to do better next time.
We live and learn.
That's the way you can say it. I mean, live and learn, you know.
Right.
Now, Now, I got to ask you guys, I'm not sure if you guys watched the Survivor Series or saw the clips or not, but what did you guys think of the appearance of Sting? I mean, did it surprise you? Did you think it was pretty cool? What were your thoughts?
I thought it was the best thing to happen in wrestling in 10 years.
Okay.
I think
it definitely shocked everybody. Nobody saw it coming because they flew in Randy Orton and Sting together to kind of throw people off. But, yeah. What did you think, Mo?
I just, I thought it was a good thing for nostalgia purposes because so many people want to see Sting in a WWE ring. And that was enough to make them say, you know what, my lifelong dream has been accomplished because Sting actually appeared in a WWE ring.
Now, would it matter if he's 56 years old and going to come in there and have a compete for a couple of matches?
See, the jury, the grand jury is still out on that one. We got to see him in the ring against somebody.
You're right.
And see how that goes because it's going to be one or two things. It's going to be either a failure, a horrible failure, or a great success. It's going to be one of the two of those. The likelihood of it being a great success is going to depend on who it's against. You know what I mean?
Now, there has been rumors saying that if Undertaker doesn't show up, it'll end up being Triple H against Sting at WrestleMania.
Well, if you were spending the money, would you rather see Sting against Triple H or Sting against The Rock?
I would say, you know what, if the opportunity's there and Sting is physically up for having a couple of matches, I say spread that sucker out and give him a good year run and close him out and put him in the Hall of Fame at WrestleMania 32.
Sounds good.
Works for me.
Sounds good.
What about you, Mimi? What you think?
I would rather see him against Triple H, and the reason, because if he went up against The Rock, it would just be a novelty match with nothing. There's no build-up. See, right now, you can build a story behind a build-up to Sting going up against Triple H. He screwed him at Survivor Series, so they can milk that all year long and lead up to a climax, to a match that everybody want to see. See, if it's The Rock, you got The Rock going to come to Monday Night Raw 3 times before WrestleMania. I mean, where's the build-up? To have a match with Sting with no purpose, no rhyme, no reason whatsoever? No, I'd rather see a match that got a program behind it, and they got an ample opportunity to do that right now.
You know what? I agree with that whole thing 100%.
I was just going to say, I totally agree.
I agree with that 100%, but now, everybody else is hoping to see Sting against Undertaker, and he's not going to come back and do a whole lot between now and WrestleMania. You know what I mean? To build up, like you said.
I don't see Sting doing much either as well,
Right, so, I don't know. But I agree with that, that they can build it up.
A Sting Undertaker match would be great, but like I said, there is a real opportunity to build a program around him and Triple H right now that leads up into something. There's a story that can be built.
Oh, absolutely. That's why I said that if they can get him, because from what I've been hearing and seeing, or reading, I should say, is that they were able to get Sting to sign a performer's contract, which they don't give much details other than that. So I do expect maybe more than one match, for sure more than one match, with the opportunity of possibly having Randy Savage headline the Hall of Fame this coming year. I could see Sting definitely headlining it next year, or even with Randy this year or this next year, and then have the Undertaker next year.
Right.
I'm sure Undertaker he doesn't have much left, but it'd be sad because he was definitely one of my favorites growing up as a kid, and been watching him ever since.
Right.
But I knew all good things have to come to an end sometime.
Oh, I know what I want to do. Dreamy, you play a large part in this. You watched some ECW matches the other night. I want to get your take on what you thought of ECW.
Dreamy.
Hello?
You there, Dreamy? You there, Dreamy?
I'm here, but I didn't hear what he said.
I said I want to get your take on what you thought of ECW.
Oh, we discussed this, and you said that you weren't going to do this to me. I have not seen enough of ECW to say anything positive or negative.
Well, you saw seven matches. What did you think of the matches?
What should I? I haven't seen enough of it for me to determine what ECW is. Because I know that they have a large following. I know that, people love it and talk about how great it does. I mean, you did. But based on what I was watching, I was waiting on it to get better. But like I said, it was just the matches that I saw. So.
Okay.
What it was a good nostalgia factor.
Do you remember what matches you saw?
Okay.
It was just a good for nostalgia.
Right.
The match that I thought was good was the one with Eddie Guerrero and what's the guy's name, babe?
Dean Malenko.
Okay, that
was
match.
Was it Dean or was it Chris?
No, Dean Malenko.
Dean.
Mm-hmm. Oh, okay.
Yeah. See, then what
they
you got?
The shooter.
Yeah. What you got then? What you got was the early on set.
Yep.
And then there was a match with what was his name, babe? Sabu. And I can't remember. And Taz.
Yeah.
Sabu.
Yes, they did have a pretty good rivalry back then.
That was a good match. But the rest of the matches, I'm like, can we flip past this?
Yeah, you got the early on set. It gets better. It gets better from there as it goes on. It gets better. So that's why I was asking what matches you got.
Like I said,
better. It gets better. And the biggest thing about them were they had some very creative storylines, like the whole Raven Sandman angle where Raven turned Sandman's son against him and his wife against him, and I mean they had some pretty serious stuff going on. Shane Douglas won the NWA World Heavyweight Championship and threw it in the trash and proclaimed himself the ECW World Heavyweight Champion, and they had some pretty intense. Yeah.
The only thing I seen of Raven was with I don't know why I can't remember these guys. I guess because I'm not familiar with them. But Raven was in a match that I personally didn't enjoy.
Yeah, you got.
Was it against Tommy Dreamer?
Yep. Yeah. Exactly. Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, that was the old set.
Raven. Yeah.
Yeah,
Raven and Tommy had a pretty good, really serious rivalry with Tommy's, I guess, current wife now, or girlfriend, or I'm not sure if they're married or not, but Beulah.
Beulah Cuddy. Yeah.
Yeah. And that was her.
Yeah. So, it got better beyond that. What you were seeing were, early parts of it just getting kicked off, because when it really got good was after Eddie Guerrero and Dean Malenko had done come and gone.
Okay.
Yeah. Those guys had come and gone and went on to WCW, and then it got better from there.
Oh, and guys, I apologize for stumbling over the WWE report so badly tonight.
No worries.
I'm trying to cook dinner for tomorrow.
No, you know what, and that's okay. With things coming up, with the holiday season coming up, it's going to be expected that we're going to be coming on at different times due to the fact of the holidays, or with the idea that Mimi or Oscar or even Mo might be traveling and they won't be able to be on Thursday nights, so we may actually come on at an earlier time.
Let me give y'all the rundown of the schedule. We will not be back until December 11th. We'll be back on December 11th, and that is going to be our season finale show. December 11th, and we will not be back after that till January 4th. We're going to take a hiatus from January because of traveling and scheduling reasons. We'll be out of town a lot in the month of December. So December 11th is the season finale of Not Your Mama's, and we're going to try to make that one a great one. We're going to try to make that a great show, and then we'll be back after that, January the 4th, because we're running a show in Boston the following week, getting ready for that. So that's pretty much the schedule. So I'll go over that again with you, Felix, just so you'll know.
Okay, that's fine. Definitely need to discuss a couple things, but we'll talk about that later. But in the meantime, I wish you guys all a very safe and happy Thanksgiving. Hopefully you guys get to eat lots of good food and watch some football games if you all like that, or just sit down and watch Survivor Series flashbacks from the 1990s or something, and watch Bam Bam Bigelow's team, Bastion Booger and the Head Shrinkers take on Bushwhacker Luke Doink, Butch Doink, Mo Doink, and Mabel Doink. And ringside, we got Oscar Doink. That was fun. That was a lot of fun to watch. I enjoyed that match.
Yeah, that's a classic. The fastest 2 hours of radio is over again. Have a happy and safe Thanksgiving. Happy holidays. If you are traveling, get to your destination safely, and we'll see you guys back here December 11th. Not Your Mama's Radio Show. I love all you guys. Happy Thanksgiving.
Take care, guys.
Night out.